Awesome. So I'm excited to have you here because I have some questions about cold email, both for myself and many of our clients who are currently running campaigns. The first thing I wanted to kind of jump in and ask you about is, does email warm up matter right now in 2024? I've heard kind of conflicting opinions. I use the warm up features and I think it's important myself, but some people don't really believe in warm up. And I'd kind of love to hear your take on, does it matter? Does it work with Google accounts? Like, what's changing with warm up? Because I know it's evolved over the last few years.
Yeah, it has. That's a fantastic question. In fact, personally, just to give a bit of background, I've been doing cold email for more than 10 years, so I've seen like a bit of everything. I've been like from the early times where you could send 2,000 emails per email account. You did not need to warm up your email accounts, and those were fantastic times. But as
The
things
glory days.
change, yeah, the good years. As things change, and additionally, we have more than 15,000 clients, and growing. So as things change and as we analyze what's working or not, we definitely always suggest people to test different things. We do not believe that there is one single truth, and in fact, we love when people A/B test stuff. But one thing we've noticed is that warm-ups do work, and in fact we are always gathering feedback from clients, from people telling us like what could do better for the warm-up features. Like I remember when we just launched the warm-up feature like 2 years ago, the AI model, because obviously the whole warm-up thing is based on AI, right? It
Right.
generates just AI conversations, and that way we can sort of like mimic human-like behavior. So right now it looks extremely real. And not only that, but like we are all the time like improving the warm-up features. And like in general, I think right now, especially with the updates that Google has announced and other providers, um, it's always important to be careful, not just with the warm up, but also with the sending, with niching down the offer, and obviously we can cover that later on. But
Sure.
I feel like the warm up feature is like when you are into professional sports. Every 1% increase that you can do to improve your campaigns matters. So the warm up is like part of those like small percentage that at the end of the day they can make you win the race.
I like it. Yeah, that makes sense. So you're still an advocate for warm up. I'm using warm up, like I said, and I think it's valid too. I've heard that Google has changed kind of the way that they treat email warm up. Do you guys have any issues with warming up Google accounts?
Yeah, we haven't seen any issues so far. Well, to be fair, Google did sort of like kill warm up like a year. Yeah, more like somehow like a year ago, and some providers died. I don't want to name like like which one of
Sure.
those died,
I
because
remember
out
seeing
of
some of
out
them
of
go down all the time. Yeah.
yeah, out of professional respect. But like like a lot of them, like they shut down their warm up services. And it's just the nature of the game. Like I said, like through the 10 years, like stuff has changed so fast that if you're not constantly adapting, constantly listening to your users, constantly, like we even speak to Google themselves. We actually have spoken directly
Oh,
to some
really?
of the reps. Yeah, because we have questions sometimes too.
Sure.
There are some things that they can tell us, and like they've been very straightforward, and they do not want to kill cold email, but they do want to kill spammers. So
Right.
I think as long as people stick to the best practices, they should be absolutely fine. Warm up is alive as long as people don't abuse of it, and I think as long as you don't represent like weird behavior spikes on your warm up. Whenever you're warming up your accounts, like for example, I don't know, like if you have like 100% reply rate on your warm up, because obviously you can like set like the
Right.
percentage of reply rates for your warm up. If you don't do like 100%, and in fact, like the other day, an agency owner, Stephen Haggerty, hi there by the way, if he's watching this, he's he has a agency in the UK, and basically he was asking me like, hey, I would like to like see if I can improve my warm up like process. And I was like, if you want to do like a test, one thing we noticed is working is you could sort of like do like basically warm up by different percentages all of your domains, or every two domains or so, and then you can like find what's the sweet spot, right? Like you can do, for example, let's say your
Right.
company is or let's actually use your company as an example. So let's say your domains are your alternative domains are Colytics or meetcoldlytics.com. That's obviously going to be an alternative domain, or coldlyticshq.com, right? So you have a bunch of alternative domains. So each one of these domains, you are going to assign a different reply rate as a percentage, and also a different amount of the total warm-up emails. So for example, if you're sending, let's say, 30 cold emails, you're going to be doing like 30 warm-up emails. And then with the next domain, you're going to be doing 20 20 warm-up emails, but with a higher reply rate. So you're going to start doing like a bunch of those experiments to see which one of those domains are performing best, and then you can just replicate those metrics that are working
Interesting.
best. Yeah. So I think like constantly playing around with it, experimenting, talking to other people. Yeah, that's a great best practice, but just don't generate those like spikes, meaning that, and I'm going to give you like one example of a huge mistake we have seen. Let's say you say your reply rate at 100%. That's absolutely fine as long as you're sending cold emails, because that's sort of like, compensates with your call campaigns. So let's say you're constantly sending every single day like 30 to 40, anywhere between 30 to 50 cold emails. Like, by the way, we always recommend 30, but we've seen people sending 50 cold emails a day, and that's I guess that's fine. But obviously 30 is more conservative and better. And then you have like 20 to 30 warm up emails, but you have 100% reply rate from your warm up emails, right? So that's gonna look like somewhat okay or natural, because you still have like another 30 emails that are not getting replied at
Right.
100% extent, right? But
Yeah.
if you have your warm up on, and then Thanksgiving comes, or the weekend comes, and you stop sending campaigns, it's going to look super weird for Google and the providers that all of your emails sent that day have 100% reply rate. So those weird
Mm,
spikes
yeah.
are those things that can get flagged.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. I appreciate those insights on warm up. For anybody that just joined, definitely go back and check that out, because that's really insightful on optimizing warm up. I didn't know how to really optimize warm up. I just turned it on, set it, and forget it. But now I'm going to go in and kind of split test a couple things across my different email accounts. So is that's the big error that you're seeing a lot of people make, is that they'll leave it 100% reply rate on warm up through dead times like weekends and holidays, and then it flags their account kind of as spammy?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like something we've seen like all the time, but I think like I would like to summarize it as, think that you are a person reviewing someone else's campaigns, right? Let's say like you work now for Google, and your job is to monitor the emails that come out of Coldlytics.
Right.
What will be those things that you will think like, this is weird, this is suspicious, that will like sort of like raise a red flag? So basically, at the end of the day, you just want to mimic human-like behavior. So anything that you can think of that you can use as a setting in your warm-up feature that can help you do that, it's going to be a big plus. So for example, in Instantly, we have the read emulation. So if you enable that, basically instantly while warming up, it's also going to scroll through the emails. So
Nice.
as if you were reading the actual email. So that will look very good for the eyes of the ISP providers. And then we also have so we have the total number of warm-up emails sent, the reply rates, the read emulation, and actually we have two other emulations also that mimic human-like behavior. So if you play around with those settings, you can enable all of those. We also have disable on weekends. That's also very good best practice as well, because like, who is sending business emails on a weekend? That also looks
Right.
like meh. So try to enable those. And also we actually recently launched something that allows you to create custom warm-up labels, because as your warm-up emails, they always come with a label, so it can be detected, and we can run our magic on the background, detect the warm-up emails, send it to another folder, and so on. So if you customize those custom labels, it's also a big plus, because there is a pattern for our custom labels, right? They are usually like, I think like 8 numbers and letters, right?
Okay.
So it's you don't need to be like a nuclear scientist to like
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
use that pattern and then like try to
Right.
block it. So that's why we enabled that like sort of like custom label, so you can create your own. You can put like your dog's name as a warm-up tag, and we even seen, so check this out. So we even noticed that some people, they are putting their own website names or their own company names as custom tags. So that way,
Yeah.
because every time those emails get a reply, whenever an email that that you're sending has your domain or your company name, it's more likely to land on the spam folder. So be creative. like think what can mimic human-like behavior. Yeah, it's just about like once again those 1% increases that can help you win the race.
Awesome. Well, I've drilled you on warm up. I appreciate you focusing on that. Let's switch now. I know you wanted to share your screen and show us a couple of things that are working, and tell us why you believe 2024 is going to be a great year for cold email, because I'm eager for my own business. And I know anybody watching this is going to be thinking the same thing. Why is 2024 a better year for cold email than before?
Yeah, no, of course. So before I share the screen, I would like to first talk about the main reason why I think 2024 is going to be a fantastic year. So, um, everyone is freaking out, or not everyone, but a lot of people are freaking out about the announcement, the recent announcement from Google that they're going to crack down on email. But the reality is that most people don't understand it. So as agency owners, you guys have to do an educational job with explaining people what it's all about, right? And the reality of it is that first, it's not related to B2B emails. So if you are into emailing businesses, you are not affected by this.
Interesting. So it's just
practice.
B2C.
Yeah, it's only B2C. It's just B2C.
Awesome.
But still, let's say you're actually emailing B2C. You're still gonna be somewhat fine. You just obviously have to be extra careful. And the reason why you'll be fine is let's begin with the 0.3% spam report rate. That's 3 emails every 1,000 emails. It sounds scary and low, but the reality of it is that it's actually very flexible. Like Amazon SES, the largest provider for newsletters, right? And emailing out there. They are top 3 at least. I don't know if they're the largest, but they're massive. They have a 0.1% spam report rate. So yeah, they are way stricter than what Google is about to announce now. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you are, using Instantly or other providers that allow domain and account rotation, you will be fine because of domain rotation itself. Like your domain gets burned, well, big deal. You get new domains. Your account gets burned, doesn't matter. You'll get another email account. It's not like, I think the ones who should be worried are those who still stick to the old school practices of, I'm going to use my main domain to send cold emails. And we've seen a couple of those. Those should be very worried. Yeah, 100%. Those should be freaking out right now. And of course, once again, maybe those will not be affected anyways, because the majority of the large enterprises, or those guys who use their main domain for cold email, they will do B2B at the end of the day. So they should be somewhat fine. But if you get to email a personal, like a database with personal email accounts, and you're using a single domain, yeah, you might get in trouble. It's not even like a sure thing. So long story short, why 2024 will be a fantastic year. Thankfully, we are gonna see inboxes cleaner from just spam in general. Like just from like at Instantly, we do not promote spam. We want people to send emails that people want to see, right? We encourage people. We really encourage, and we create a lot of educational content about it. We have like 1,000 videos on YouTube. We have like this Facebook community with more than 33,000 members, and a lot of other stuff where we really try to teach people. Make sure that, and I'm quoting here AG Casada, who is also a great agency owner out there. He says, do not sell meat to a vegan. The vegan will report your spam or will just give you a slap on the face. Do not offer that. Like, why will you do that? So basically, try to make sure that what you're offering is just interesting for whoever is receiving it. Like, don't sell ice to the schemos. Just make sure that you niche down on your databases, get good databases. You know this better than I do. You're an expert on databases and so on. You guys are really good at that stuff. So yeah, try to get good data. Like, try to talk to pros about it. Don't try to get like a super large database with like, I don't care. I'm just gonna just launch this campaign and just contact a bunch of people. So I think we will see a fantastic year for those who stick to the fundamentals because we will see cleaner inboxes thanks to these best practices. So I like to see the glass half full. And I will show you even like some metrics from our campaigns in a second. We like to practice what we preach. At Instantly, we send cold emails, and that's how we also grow instantly.
Cool.
And we've done that ever since, like from the very beginning. But long story short, just stick to 4 fundamentals. We call this the 4 fundamentals of cold email that I have seen working for 10 years and that will keep working. And as long as you stick to these fundamentals, you'll be absolutely fine and land on the inbox and make a lot of money.
Yeah, dig in. Tell me what these 4 are.
So they are good copywriting, right? Make sure your message is resonates with people. It's not too long. It just makes sense. You can include there like some AI stuff. You can follow Eric Novolowski. He's amazing at that stuff. Like most of cold emailers know him. The next one is good data. You can talk about that for hours, I'm sure. So like whoever wants to learn about that, they can just follow you. The third pillar is a good technical setup. That's what we're here for, instantly. You just stick to using a good emailing tool, good email accounts, set up the whole DNS settings, and so on and so on. And the last one is sort of related to data, but it's just having a good offer. If you have a good offer, make sure that what you're offering it's just in general, people might buy it, and then I have actually, let me share my screen. Second. Right. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, I'll put it up on the screen for everybody here.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Awesome. So this is a framework that we design and we share in our Facebook community. And it's related to, having a good offer. And also, actually, it's sort of somewhat connected to these 4 pillars, but mostly to a good offer and good data, right? So, we like to see people succeed, and we try to teach people like how to grow their agency. Like we have a lot of people that are just starting out, and a lot of people like ask us, how do I get to 10K a month, right? Now, obviously, we cannot ensure that you will get to 10K, but we've seen people succeeding. We also have done it ourselves. I had an agency as well before myself. And I think it's pretty straightforward. The first thing is you need to think if you have any background or basically any social proof. Do you have any success stories? Do you have anything that can help people trust you with what you're offering or what you're selling? If you have 2 or more of those, you are good to go, because that's the number one thing. I like trust me, a lot of people, they don't even include this stuff in their cold emails, and they have to, in a way. You need to prove people in a way. Why will they trust you with whatever you're selling, right? Or on your landing page. And if you don't, it's gonna get a bit harder. So let's say you don't, right? So if you don't have social proof or success stories or paying customers, whatever, you're gonna pick a niche, and you're gonna send 5,000 emails. Out of those 5,000 emails, you want to see the results. Like that's gonna be like an easy way to see if if your offer or you can, like, this way you can pretty much test if the offer that you have, or if the database that you have, or if the copy you have as well is converting. And if it's not, if you have less than 2 closes, you need to repeat this stuff. Gotcha. You need to pick a new niche, or a new offer, or make a change on your copy, like a hard change. Let's say your call to action is book a call with me. Well, you're wrong. Like, most of people are not going to book a call with you on your first email, because that's pretty much like going to the street and asking someone to marry them. If you want to get a girlfriend or a partner or a husband or whatever it is, you don't go straight to people and tell them, hey, press here and marry me. Like, right? You have to like first create some interest, like create trust, and start from there, right? Like a few touch points, take them out for dinner, and so on and so on. It's just the psychology behind it. So let's say that you have over 2 closes, then that means that you can scale your sending, and that's when things start getting interesting. You start getting new email accounts, you start scaling your sending per day, and then you have 2 options. You have to measure if by scaling you're getting positive ROI, or negative ROI, and then you keep scaling up until you get to a point where like your campaigns are converting accordingly, and you have decent ROI. You obviously cannot scale forever. You're gonna get like a million email accounts. I mean, you could, but that's like for very
Right.
specific cases.
Eventually, you'll hit your TAM. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so on. So this is like we try to simplify it this way. So long story short, um, just always be testing. Always be testing. Analyze your data. Make constant changes to your copy, your niche, your offer, and you should be seeing results like that. A lot of people give up. After a week, they're like, "Oh, they're just a week in sending cold emails," and they're like, "This is not working."
Yeah.
It just doesn't work, and
You see that
it's
all the
just
time. Yeah.
yeah, you still see it all the time. Yeah, yeah, can imagine.
I'd love to see. Can you share campaigns with us? Do you have any campaign examples of things that are working really well, offers or strategies that you've seen currently that you could share as well?
Oh yeah, of course. So, well, this is our dashboard instantly from the last 7 days, right? So we like to practice what we preach, right? And one thing that is interesting is so we send more or less like 2,000 emails per day, more
Okay.
or less. Sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. And one thing that is interesting is that even though like these reply rates are nothing crazy at all, right? Like I'm
It's
sure
not
like
bad.
some of you,
Really, it's not bad.
yeah, I mean, we're in a very competitive space, right? We offered like a solution for sending cold emails and outreach. So I guess that's why it's just rougher to just get higher reply rates. But we have some users that they get like 10% reply rates, 15%. So we've
Do you
gotten
see
that
those
as well.
numbers at scale, those 10% plus reply rates? Like, do you see people doing that with thousands of emails? Because I even have a course on getting 36% reply rates, but the reality was that study that I do is only for about 115 contacts that I've reached out to, and trying to replicate that over thousands of emails, that number normalizes a lot from that kind of
Yeah.
anomaly.
Yeah, it's true. I think you're right about that one. I think what we notice is that to keep those like crazy high numbers, you need to niche down a lot. Your databases. So I think it makes sense when you know that your TAM is just very small. You want to be very efficient with your databases. In our case, because we sell a service that pretty much any sales or marketing or lead generation team could buy. We just like plug our campaigns to thousands of contacts in one go. So that's why we don't care so much of optimizing the reply rate, but we focus more on the positive reply rate, this number here. So for example, this week we generated 137 opportunities for people saying yes. They're like, yeah, I want to buy this, or yes, I'm interested. Let's have a call, let's talk, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're fully booked for this week, thanks to our campaigns. And a few things that we have seen working are first, especially for this year, first, try to make sure that your messages are somewhat customized. So we use AI for some of our campaigns. So obviously on
Okay.
Instantly, when you go to when you open any campaigns, so let me open like this campaign. Here in the leads tab, we have the AI prompts, so you can use prompts to customize your campaigns. You also have some other tools that are awesome for that, like Clay.com. Clay also does a fantastic job at enriching your data. As I say, you
Yeah.
can follow Eric Nowalowski for that. He's awesome. And yeah, basically you can generate some awesome campaigns with that. And yeah, that's what we use as well. We customize. We make sure that we scan their websites and we offer something that resonates to with what they do. So in our first two lines, we pretty much like tell
Can you
them
show
how.
us the actual emails?
Um, I can't actually. I would love to.
No
I
problem.
would love to, but we have competitors watching this, so I can't for the moment. But
No problem.
but yeah, I would love to. I would love to. Yeah. But yeah, basically, the whole structure behind it is you have like some awesome prompts, whether it's on Instantly. We have a community that builds prompts, or else on Clay, like if you follow Erin Orlovsky, and he basically teaches you how to build a message that takes the description, the company description or whatever they do, or scan their website, and then match that with what you're offering, and that way your message will be like completely customized, like how your solution matches entirely with what they do as a company, and then it just looks so real. So I think the first two lines, using that methodology at least works for us, so we totally recommend it for other people. I think another best practice is to always be testing, so we're all the time testing stuff, improving, like doing small improvements in many things, like whether it's the copy, whether it's the settings on the warm-up feature, also testing different databases, different lead sources, testing different job titles. So we, for example, for this week's campaign, why we got like a very large size of opportunities, 137 is not small.
Right.
It's basically because we
Job title.
remove yeah we remove sales directors. So we remove sales directors, and we only
Interesting.
focus on founders, and we focus on other job titles that we never thought of, that are like middle managers. That they are like people that might not be decision makers, but they are still, they could be still interested into stuff.
And will
So
those convert for you as well? Some of those lower level titles.
yeah, surprisingly they do convert. They surprisingly, we had a good reply rate with those people. Also um we have tested stuff like whenever someone gets hired on a position, add that person into a campaign. That also works very well, because, as you know, like people who are just new into a role, and not immediately. A lot of people, they have automation set up, like whenever someone changes a job title, um send them a message, and I think people know, because they receive too many in mass, too
Yeah.
many of those. So I will wait, like, I don't know, like a month in, and also they need to get settled into the role. They're probably not going to be presenting stuff like during the first week. But I think if you wait like a month or two, when they are like sort of somewhat trained, and like more in the zone or comfortable in the role, you can include them into the database, and then you can tell them like stuff like, hey, like, I noticed that your company does whatever, blah blah blah. I also noticed that you recently into the role. Maybe this would be interesting for you to present to your management team. So yeah, like that kind of stuff is what we're
Is
seeing
still working for it,
works.
even at the
Yeah,
middle level. Yeah,
yeah.
that's really fascinating. Before you stop, can you actually reshare again? If you don't mind, are you able to show us your email accounts and show us how many email accounts you set up per domain? I'd be curious to see what your setup looks like in Instantly for the business.
Okay, let me just check that. There we go. So there we go. Okay. So these are some of our email accounts. I mean, we have hundreds of email accounts in our Instantly
Yeah.
account. So yeah, we are always testing different email providers, different domains, always warming up domains, even when we're not sending campaigns. So yeah, we're all the time like testing different stuff. So it's
So do you know
like, for
how
example.
many emails you guys are setting up on a single domain?
So we have tried from, so we the recommended number is from 2 to 5, because that's what we have seen works. Two
Okay.
is more conservative and long lasting. 5 is, it still works. It's risky, but at the same time not too risky. Beyond that, you're playing with fire or risking it. It will still work. So we have accounts disconnected here. We have accounts warming up. We have like a bunch of accounts here. So we're always testing stuff. So from our experiments, I will say, two to three email accounts per domain is like a good number. If you obviously, if you're short in budget, because you cannot buy like a bunch of domains, you can do 5. But yeah, 2 to 3 is just, it's a good number.
Makes sense. Now, as far as email warm-up health goes, that's kind of my final question I'm curious about is what health scores do you run emails on? And at what point do you guys stop and say, hey, we need to get the email health up before we continue to use this account?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So I think you're fine until like somewhat between the 80, 85-ish range.
Okay, that's
You
lower than I
shouldn't get
expected.
too if you're like 85% at 85% health score, you shouldn't worry too much. Below, like once you're getting like between 80 and 85, then you can be like, okay, there's something going on here.
Gotcha.
So I will say that yeah, like up until 85 you're fine, and then below 85 you need to start getting worried, and
Yeah.
below 80 somewhere around 70 actually instantly will pause your warm up automatically. I mean, it will pause your campaigns, it will pause your email accounts, because to protect your campaigns and your email accounts, but also to protect your warm up pool as well, right? Because we don't want email accounts in the warm up pool that are constantly landing on the inbox, right? That's not good for anyone. So yeah, that's somewhat automated. And then usually what we recommend users is like whenever it goes below that, just pause your campaigns for those specific email accounts and just let them warm up for like 2 to 3 weeks. But at the same time, also review your copy, check your databases, check what can be causing, basically an increase in spam report rates, because that's directly correlated when your health drops, for your domain health drops. It's directly correlated with spam reports from people, or people
Okay.
just not engaging with your emails, or maybe you're emailing like spam traps, and that's just like burning
Right.
your domain. So try to analyze like a bit of everything. I will say like the main one is data. So just get data from professionals like you, or from other people that they know what they're doing, like, because they
Yeah.
will help you target the right people, and with data that will not bounce, with data that will not have spam traps and so on, so that way your performance should be good to
Yeah.
go.
I know I said that was my last question. I've got one more that came to mind too. Is there a certain email provider that you guys have said, hey, overall, we see better deliverability when people set up email accounts with Google or Microsoft? Or I'm using the cheapest one I've ever found, which is, and the reason for that is it connects directly to Namecheap, which is our where we buy our domains. So I just set up the privateemail.com Namecheap connection, and I'm having good results with those campaigns. But I have wondered, hey, if I set this up on Google, would I see even a 1% increase in my results? Would it be a little bit better because it was on Google? What's your experience with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. You will definitely see an increase if you use Google, and that's part of the experiment that we recommend. Um, Basically, we do not recommend a single provider. Like, it's not like this provider is the only one that you should be using. In fact, we always tell people try to diversify. So try to use like two providers. The more the better, actually. If you use like two
Interesting.
two to three email providers, that's like amazing. That's safe. Um, and regarding that, so I'm gonna stick to data once again. So the two largest providers used by companies out there, by the enterprise level specifically, are Google and Outlook. So they tend to have a preference for servers and for emails that come from their own servers, meaning that if
Right.
they receive an email from Google, they're more likely to put you on the inbox, because
Yeah.
you're coming from the same server as theirs, and same for Outlook, right? So instantly, and also other providers, I don't know which, but I know we do. We have something called provider matching, and basically what we do is we analyze for you which provider are the people you're targeting using. So we can guess that for you, and at the same time, if you have connected a mix of Google and Outlook accounts, we'll make sure that we'll send Google to Google and Outlook to Outlook, and that way
Beautiful.
you should see an increase in your open and reply rates. I cannot ensure you a percentage on how much you will see increase, but we have noticed that some users, when actually we built that feature because users requested it. That's how instantly has been growing so fast. We had like some agency owners that they were like, guys, my campaigns that where I match providers are like amazing. And Jesse Outlet, um you probably already also know him, like he's also big in the agency space. He basically was talking about this the other day, that just provider matching is a fantastic way to increase your reply rates. So yeah, we have that feature on. We strongly recommend mixing providers. Always safe to start with both Google and Outlook.
Awesome.
And then why not throw a third one into the mix, like the one that you currently have? I think this is not a bad option, but definitely not the best performing one that we've noticed.
Cool. I appreciate that. Anything else that you want to add before we wrap this up, Lee?
Um, Yeah, why not? So for those who don't know and who would like to learn more, let's say like anyone who is just starting out on cold email, um, as I mentioned, we have a lot of like free content, and basically we want to educate people. We
Right.
want to make sure people land on the inbox. So we have something called the Instantly Accelerator platform. It's right on Instantly on the bottom left corner, and we have everything that people need about cold email for free. Like this is entirely a non-promotional thing. Okay, I'm not trying to promote
Sure.
Instantly. I'm literally trying to educate people about cold email. And yeah, if you ever want to learn more about cold email, like strongly recommend you like following guys like yourself, uh, like I'm sure like you have a lot of very high quality stuff to say, to like read stuff like, for example, in the accelerator. I think like being constantly curious is just the best way moving forward to land on the inbox. So yeah.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time today, man. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you for having me.